not a good card for Tom to continue bluffing here. I think he's likely to check back. It can give Sammy trip 10s, and it also improves his second and third pair hands, because they now lose to fewer hands than they did on the flop. And Tom Rivers top pair.
Check.
Automatic value bet?
I would think so. You would have to be very worried that your opponent was checking trip 10s or some sort of flopped monster to consider not betting here.
13,000.
I hate that.
Wow, and a quick pass from Sammy, sort of perhaps indicative that he doesn't think Tom's going to be doing much bluffing.
I guess in that spot specifically, maybe. He certainly was giving Tom some credit for being able to bluff when he made that ace-king call.
It is going to be a long, long match. And I guess, like, the first few hands, really a feeling out stage. I mean, how do you begin a heads-up match? Tight?
Usually not.
Raise 3,000 total.
I tend
Re-raise
not to play very
11,000.
tight at any point of a heads-up match. I think it's important to really be contesting the small pots, as Tom is doing here. He's re-raising with Jack-7 suited, hoping to pick it up either pre-flop or maybe with a bet on the
36.
flop.
Wow, he is
Like, it's gonna
re-raising.
be a re-raise.
And obviously the problem with that, right, you're kind of...
I don't love re-raising that hand. Re-raising a weaker hand to bluff, I think, is a good play. Re-raising a stronger hand for value, I think, is a good play. With ace-jack there, when Tom gives him action, it's almost always going to be with, like, a slightly better hand. He's setting himself up to play a pot against ace-king, ace-queen, medium to big pairs.
My hands are tiny. I can't get to the chips. There we go.
The positive thing, though, is that Sammy, so far,
Right.
taking a very aggressive
Stand up,
attitude.
pre-flop
Yeah.
raise. Okie dokie. Let's rock.
Cool.
The spirit of this match already sort of the tone set that it's going to be, even though contested, friendly. These guys are both gentlemen poker players in a sense.
Absolutely.
If I had just one heart in my hand, I call. Even if it's the deuce.
That's something I love about high-stakes poker, is that players are mostly very civil with each other. There's a very sort of sporting, friendly, competitive, but,
Right,
you know,
3,000 total.
there's a certain camaraderie that comes with gambling for these stakes. And people get along for the most part.
And these stakes are, of course, these stakes here are pretty much about as big as are played in poker today. This is about as
Yeah.
big as it gets.
Yeah, it is not often that you see a heads-up game, or really any sort of game, for stakes bigger than this. 501k blinds, 250 big blind stacks. They're going to play a $500,000 pot sometime pretty soon.
3-bet from Sammy. Call in position from Durrrr.
Oh, man.
Are we going to be seeing him do a lot of that tonight?
I think so. In my experience
Bet.
playing with him and seeing him play against other players, he does not like folding to 3-bets, especially when he's in position.
Oh, yeah, that hand yesterday was with Market, with Ronald. I had 4-9 of spades, and the flop came like, I think 10, no, ace, 4, 6. And then
Already ahead.
he bet like
50,000.
fat chords. I hit the 9 on the turn.
Yeah.
And I said to Erica, before the 9 came on the turn,
Off to a good
I said
start
to
for
Erica,
Sammy.
listen, I said to Erica, look, this is a Dwani hand. It's just uber wrong.
Uber wrong. I
Right.
sort of been
3,000
noticing that these guys obviously very
Didn't
good
care about
friends,
calling
and
on that one, huh?
Sammy has sort of taken on the Durrrr lingo. He's
Yeah.
everything is uber sick and
Cool.
how tough is it to play these small players heads up?
Well, small pairs are pretty strong hands in general, heads up, but when you're in a spot like this where there's a pair and another card larger than your pocket pair on board, it's really difficult to play your hand because every card in the deck is so bad for you. You know, the 6 turns now, and then on the river, any a 6 or a 10 counterfeits Sammy's hand, and he plays the board. And any card 7 through queen or so is pretty good for Tom and pretty bad for Sammy.
Such a goofball.
No.
Yeah, he's gotten away from it.
I would have bet the river after that move. Although I would have bet the river before that move also.
That was what I had in my mind. So if I call that, what am I prepared to call on the river? 15 all in or what?
And Sammy's got the right idea here.
Or something
Tom
like
seems
that?
to have made it clear that if Sammy plays passively, Tom's going to make a lot of big bets and
Okay,
give
let me
Sammy
study
tough
what you do here.
decisions.
3,000 standard? Okay.
3,000 total.
All right, let's see. A flop.
And yet, there is sort of a theory that sometimes you sort of revert to passive play and defensive play certain points in a match. I mean,
Definitely.
Check.
I think that just calling with that hand is a perfectly good play.
check on the flop. Sammy now with the second nuts anyway.
Sammy has to be very confident he has the best hand here.
And what sort of decision is this right now for Durr?
Well, what's the sizing of this bet here? That's a big bet.
Oh, it's like triple pot.
Yeah, just about. For a pot-sized bet, he would have had a really tough decision. And it's hard to call against that bet, I think. Though, at the same time, how often is he going to have better than a king there? Is he just going to give up the pot every time Sammy makes a big bet?
Yeah, bro, it'd be so much fun.
What?
It's sort of
It
like
will
the
be so much
patterns
fun
are now
this,
being set for later. Is that what you see?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just look at some of the new stats we'll be tracking in this match. Total aggression is a ratio of how often a player bets or raises versus calling.
Right, and what you can see from these numbers is that Durr is playing more aggressively than Sammy, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just that Tom, when he's playing a big pot, more often has the lead, and Sammy is getting to the river, facing a big bet, and having to guess if he should call or fold.
Tom, Durr, Dwan, and Sammy Any2 George have struck up an unusual friendship over the past few months.
The first time I met him, he was coming out of a toilet. I said hello to him. He didn't know who I was. Then I turned around and I said, you know, I'm Sammy George. I'm going to be playing you in the challenge. He said, he goes, oh, nice to meet you. He went. I think he probably forgot straight after that, you know, rushing to the room to play his tournament.
I didn't know anything about him, and now I consider him a pretty good friend. He's a very cool guy. I've spent a bunch of time with him in the last 2 months since I've been in London a lot.
When he came over for the World Series of Poker Europe, we were playing a lot of big games here, a lot of big games. And we built a very good relationship. You know, we were together every other day. You know, we were playing here, playing there. We were going bowling quite a bit. You know, playing loads of games together, you know? A lot of bets were laid while he was here.
I've watched him win all the money in a bunch of the games because he's done really well in the last few months. And I hope that keeps going, but has a one-day halt in it, as hopefully I win some from him today.
As people go, I think he's the most honest, respectable man that I've met in this game.
Still to come tonight, the two friends clash at the felt.
I must put a lot of tension in the back of my head.
Food is the main topic of the night.
Gotta get the black colored miso.
Yes.
Gotta get them in the lettuce wraps.
Yes.
Gotta get the yellow jalapeno.
Yeah, of course.
Rock shrimp.
And Sammy struggles to focus on the game.
I'm on TV at the moment while I'm talking to you.
Join us for more action after the break.
I'm just going to go 10K in the middle and just do it in one go.
Welcome back. Isaac Haxton and myself here at the Durrrr Million Dollar Challenge. Just taking on Sammy George for $500,000 or more.
She was saying,
And
she said,
so far, Sammy seems to be accommodating himself quite well, Isaac.
she said,
Yeah, Sammy
what's her
seems to
name,
be playing
Erica?
well.
She
He's
said, she
made
was
some good
dealing,
decisions in tough spots.
She said she was dealing and you.
Another
It was
3-bet
funny that you were doing it in like in the
from
restaurant,
Durr.
I think. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was
Sammy makes a little bit of a loose call with Queen 2 suited there.
The size of the 3-bet just seems to be both players about 11,000, slightly more than the opening raise, if you know what I mean, as far as the size of the bet. Is that traditional?
Yeah, that's pretty typical for the big blind to re-raise to anywhere from 3 times the open to 4 times the open.
Devilfish goes.
Any
I told
smaller and
Sigmund,
it's just
if
too
he
easy to
plays-
call.
if-
Any bigger
I
and
told
you're
Sigmund
laying the
if he
guy too
plays
big a
again,
price
he'll be
to get dealt a
£500,000.
good hand.